Hello and welcome to the Farming Live podcast. At the Suffolk show this year, Brian Barker and his team of stewards launched the Farming Live Ring, which brought moving farm machinery to the show for the very first time. The team also did live interviews with leading and inspiring people from the world of farming in Suffolk, and this podcast brings you one of those interviews. Today we'll hear from Tom Rouse, the Suffolk Agricultural Association's Rising Star Scholarship winner, who spoke to Patrick Barker on the Wednesday afternoon.
So as well as organising the Suffolk show, the Suffolk Agricultural Association has new for this year a scholarship called the Rising Star Scholarship, and this award, supported by Fram Farmers, is open to people aged 19 to 30 who are working in agriculture or the allied industries. The award is about recognising those who are still in the early stages of their chosen career, but also starting to stand out. Delighted that this year's winner is here with me now, and the very first recipient of this award is Tom Rouse. There's £800 worth of prizes, including a place at the Oxford Farming Conference, a year's membership of the Suffolk Agricultural Association, a year's subscription to the Farmers Club, 2 tickets to the Suffolk Agricultural Association Awards Dinner, and the award is being presented later in the Grand Ring. Tom, let's start with this then. You must be delighted to win this scholarship. Tell me why you entered it and how you were selected.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Patrick. So the process was reasonably straightforward. A friend of mine who works at the Show Association was hoodwinking people into applying for this scholarship. So she put me onto it, really. The process was quite straightforward. I had to put an application in, which was reviewed by the board, and then I was selected for interview as one of 3. So I fought the other 2 off and was able to win.
And just tell us what they were looking for and how you feel that you are an ambassador for the association and for farming.
Yeah, so I think they were really looking for young, enthusiastic people who work in agriculture, not necessarily who are working specifically or directly on farms or are farmers' sons per se. It was an award that's been put together to encourage youngsters to succeed in their careers. So I'm an agronomist, that's what I do for a living, and I've been back in Suffolk now for 5 years doing that career. Agriculture is generally quite a committing career, so it does need people to actually fully commit to it, come out on their days off, do things like this to educate other people and really express how good agriculture is as an industry. So that's one thing they were really looking for.
You said you're working as an agronomist. Are you from a farming background?
So certainly not blood farming. My mum was a nurse and dad was a soldier, so certainly didn't have any real exposure to agriculture in my early years. My mum moved us down to Suffolk and met my stepdad, who was a builder at the time but has a farming heritage. He now works on his parents' farm, so I've had a bit of exposure in my late teens to agriculture. Now that was a real point in my life where actually being exposed to somebody who was keen about what they do, who's got the ability to transfer knowledge onto the younger generation and was willing to let me have a go at things. I had a go at a bit of building with him, but I tended to just break things. I've since tried to work on the farm with him and I still break things. So actually it made more sense to pursue a career in what I was good at, which is more about the science of growing crops and the real technology behind how we produce these, how we grow these. And that's what I'm really passionate about. Seeing these crops go in the ground, nurturing them all the way through the whole growing period, talking to farmers, getting them to get high performance out of their crops, and being outside. So that's where I ended up.
One of the themes that we're looking at here at Farming Live is farming actually as a career. Agriculture generally really struggles to recruit people. A lot of it is down to long hours, a lot of it is to the fact that it doesn't really appear to be that appealing from the outside. What would you say to people who are thinking about agriculture as a career?
I think anybody who's young and keen and wants to give it a go, you need to step forward. You need to go and speak to people at the show today. We have a tent just on the side here for the class apprenticeships. These are the guys driving these machines today, so if driving machinery and operating big pieces of kit is your thing, go and speak to those guys. Talk to farmers. There's plenty of us walking around today with Ask Me, I'm a Farmer on our back. If you've got a burning question about how you think you could get into farming, then come and ask us. We've all been there, we've all gone through it, and we can probably give you some guidance. I think the key things we're looking for in careers in agriculture is one, that enthusiasm and that passion to be proud about what you do and what you produce, and that you're part of greater good. And secondly, that you are prepared to put some hard work in, you're keen to learn, I came from not a farming background originally, and I've learned everything I've learned to this point. Being open-minded to try new things, ask questions, learn about how things, and really focus your mindset into where you want to go with your career. But today's a perfect opportunity here at the show. There's plenty of farmers, plenty of farm stalls to talk to. Go and get involved.
Okay, you said you worked as an agronomist. Agronomy is all about getting the plants that we're growing to their maximum potential. A lot of what we see involves a sprayer, and a lot of the growing of crops is applying pesticides, herbicides, insecticides. Tell me a little bit about how you advise farmers on the products that they're applying to their crops. And I think one thing myself as a farmer that is really important is getting across the message that actually they're expensive. We don't really want to use them as much as we have to, and everything is a very targeted decision. So just talk me through how you go about your day job.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Patrick hit the nail on the head there, really. Pesticides really are a hot topic at the moment. My colleague Scott, actually, who's helping me talk through the Farming Live ring today, he works for a company who actually produces these chemicals. It costs something like £250 million to get one product to market. So these companies have a huge investment to get that product right, make sure it works, make sure it's safe, make sure the farmer knows how to use it, make sure that I'm qualified in being able to give the advice on the use of that product. And then, even filtering down to the guy who's driving the sprayer, he needs to know what he's doing and understand why he's doing it before he then is the one applying it to the crop. So it's a really integral process, the pesticide industry. Everything's hugely well regulated. We don't do anything because we want to, we generally are doing it because it's the right decision for that crop. So we don't just use those products willy-nilly. They are tried and tested based on real ground, sound science, which is where my background is from my university degrees. And that's my understanding. So farmers come to me to be able to use these products in a safe, coordinated manner that allows you to have safe food on your plate at the end of the day. That is to some of the highest standards, food standards in the world.
Okay, and the reason you're here is because you are the recipient of the Rising Star Award. Let's talk a little bit more about that. Out of all the prizes that I mentioned, what are you looking forward to the most?
So, having been involved with the industry for a number of years now, the pinnacle event for the agricultural calendar is the Oxford Farming Conference every January. It's a fantastic conference that allows farmers, industry representatives, politicians to get their heads together and really work out what the real issues are in farming today. It's an opportunity for us to speak our mind, talk to very important people that set the rules for UK agriculture, European agriculture, worldwide agriculture. So I'm really looking forward to spending 3 days at the Oxford Farming Conference. It will really help me meet more farmers, get my name out there, really listen to people, like I say, who actually at the end of the day are quite a lot higher than me in their careers. They're the ones that are setting the legislation, so it's very important that I get my concerns across as an advisor, because I represent a big acreage of Suffolk farmers, and I can take my knowledge to those guys so they can make informed decisions on how UK agriculture progresses. So I'm really looking forward to the Oxford Farming Conference.
Good, and you're here today as part of the Farming Live team. We've been going now for a whole morning. You've been doing the commentary on the oilseed rape story. How do you feel it's gone?
Yeah, so it's the first year we've had a live moving machinery demonstration ring here at the Suffolk Show. It's a great thing to come and see, guys. We're right by the Bucklesham entrance, so I do believe 70% of you come through that entrance. So please do take the time to come and stop, have a look at the machinery, listen to us. We're expelling our knowledge onto you guys, and there's some big kit here to have a look at. I think it's gone really well so far. We've had some really good crowds, especially around the 10 o'clock time. There was a flood of people came through the doors, and the combine was moving around the ring, and that's my favourite machine in the ring. It's big, it makes loads of noise, you can really see it working around this ring, and it's a great sight to see nice and up close.
Okay, thank you very much, Tom. Tom is actually receiving his scholarship award in the Grand Ring as part of the Grand Parade later on this afternoon. He will be here for the rest of the day as part of the Farming Live commentary team. Also, I will be back with Ben Eagle. We're interviewing farmers every half hour on the hour. Do come back for the next oilseed rape story, which will be at 1 o'clock. But for now, I'm going to hand over to Scott who's going to talk a little bit more about the combine.
This podcast was a Thinking Country production. The producer was Ben Eagle, the music was by Black Rom, and the chief organiser of Farming Live was Brian Barker.